Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Chime with Jhalisa. And as you guys can see now, we've got some new and exciting things in the works. My biggest project was beginning this YouTube journey of the podcast, which I'm so excited. Thank you for all the love and support and help that I know I'm going to need, want, ask for, and thank you for in regards to just my podcast in general, but just the support you guys give me. I love it. Knowing that there is a community behind Chime with Jhalisa honestly keeps Chime with Jhalisa going. Because as we know from episode after episode, life is tough. I have my moments, but I mean, we're all figuring it out together, so we can figure this out too, and you guys are gonna help me. So, Chime with Jhalisa has now taken this step to being on YouTube. And for me, that's very stressful is not the right word. I get a little nervous because me and the camera, as great as I think I can take pictures and like be in videos, I think when it's just me, like I get really nervous. I get a little self-conscious. But I'm very excited because I do want you guys to experience my mannerisms, the way I talk, my facial expressions, and then of course we have other great things in the work that are definitely going to be incredible being able to record it. So without further ado, let's get into the episode. I come on here a lot and I tell you guys about the hard stuff, the ugly stuff, the storms that come in the journey of life. Like, as you are progressing to heal, to move forward, to chase your dream, I keep bringing up all like the negative, well, I don't want to say negative, but I keep bringing up like the hardship of it all. And as much as I think that's necessary to be transparent with you guys, I think it creates this negative connotation around breaking the stigma around talking about this kind of stuff, but also it creates this, I guess, uncomfortable barrier that is like, oh, when you're healing, like you're super negative or you're super pessimistic. And that's not the case, because even though it may seem like it's storm after tornado, hurricane, tsunami, whatever natural disaster comes to mind when you think of your inner turmoil, there's so much beauty in it. There's so much beauty in the growth and the love and just the journey itself. And so this is what I call the adjusting to your new lifestyle kind of moment, kind of phase that you're going to go through. And I'm going through it now, obviously, and it can be hard if you focus on that stuff. So I read something somewhere, I'm sure a lot of you guys have as well, that kind of hurt a little bit, that says, like, if you are always looking for a yellow car, you'll constantly keep seeing yellow cars. If you keep looking for opportunities, you'll keep finding them. But if you look for darkness, for negativity, that's what's going to keep coming up. And I think at first, like, it's something you read and you see it and you're like, I mean, yeah, I get it, but it's not easy when people just look at you and they're like, just be positive. Golly, I didn't think of that one. Golly. Talk to my dad too much on the phone. He'll love that comment. But there are two things that I think are huge when it comes to adjusting to this new lifestyle that you're building. And one of them is like when you're feeling sad or you're feeling angry, and like some of those more, I like to call them big emotions, when they start to come up and they start hitting the surface, in your head you're like, dang, I thought I got over this. I thought I moved on. I thought I healed. I thought I was good. First of all, who said you weren't? Unfortunately, when we do go through the healing journey, there is a part of you that has those emotions come back up, but it's not because you're going through them again. It's because you're finally grieving the old you. You're finally grieving that part of you that held on to hurt for so long. Like for me, I'll admit this, I still cry probably more times than I want to admit. And one of the times when I was crying, I sat there and I was like, I'm not even really sad right now. Like, nothing in life is really sad and bringing me down. But there was a version of myself at some point that would have allowed mistreatment, would have allowed boundaries to be crossed, that allowed myself to be less than and treated less than what I deserve, what I'm worth. And that's what I was grieving. That's what those tears were for. It was mourning the girl I used to be, because she has brought me so far. I don't even know where to begin when I say, like, the old me, the inner child version of myself, the inner teen version of myself has brought me this far. I'm mourning that Jhalisa because she went through hell. And like, I had support, I had love, I had all these incredible things, but at the end of the day, like, there was certain events in my life that only I could bring myself through. Therefore, I had to put up with it. I had to go through that hurt, that pain, that anger, the grief, the shame of some of the stuff, and I had to pull myself out of that. That's who I'm grieving. That's who I cry for now. Because 13, not even, I can go further back than that. 10-year-old, 13-year-old, 16, 18, 21, like those versions of me unfortunately had to go through the hard stuff so I could be here right now. So I could be sitting in front of this camera telling you guys that as hard as life is, there is so much beauty in it. So yes, you're gonna get sad sometimes, but being sad is not always because you're sad about your situation. Being sad sometimes is, this is the final step of letting go. Like you're done, like you're moving on now and you're gonna be okay. I know people say that all the time, oh, you're gonna be okay, life's gonna be okay. It will be. I just don't know when. But it's coming because you deserve good things. The second thing I want to mention is that you're gonna slip up when you're creating this new lifestyle. A while ago I heard people say like it takes 30 days to build a habit. But there's so much more to like those 30 days. Like there's 30 days to build the habit, 6 months or something to fully incorporate it. It becomes a part of you after like a year. Understand that you're going to slip up. You might, you might have like an automatic response. There we go. Whew. You might have this automatic response to something because you're building something new. And so when something happens, you'll revert back to an old habit because you're like, oh, that's gotten me out of something in the past. It might not be a healthy habit, but it's gotten you out of the past. So in your head, you're like, oh, okay, I'll just do that, put myself back on track. That's not how that works. And that's not how we grow. I can say this because I've messed up plenty of times, but when you slip up, it's okay. But you have to understand that, one, that's not the reaction to have, and two, whatever reaction is better for that moment, understand that that's to come with time. Like, you have to practice. Nobody, even if you have the most athletic talent in the world, nobody can get by and do well without practicing. You know that saying, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard? Extremely true, and that goes for life as well. Like, for me personally, the first example I think of is that, and this is something I'm currently working on and I still find myself slipping up, is that when somebody says something I don't like, I immediately make a face. You can ask literally anybody who is around me. My friends that I work with, my friends in class, my roommate, I make the worst faces. Like, I wear my expressions on my sleeve. I'm meant to let you know how I feel. And because I do that, it often comes with a, what's that face for? Or, oh, do you have something to say? And instead of, the old me, making these little snarky comments back or saying whatever I want, I take a moment and I'm like, no, I was thinking of something, however, in regards to, whatever the conversation was. And I'll say my piece, but something I learned to work on is that, one, stop making so many faces, because when everybody sees it, they see me make these faces and they're like, there she goes again. And it's something I am working on, because some of it's rude, and I'm able to acknowledge that I need to stop making judgy faces. But in place of that, the new habit I make is to really take whatever they said and kind of bring it in internally, and I really think about it. So a question I overheard, I was at the grocery store, like this had nothing to do with me giving anybody a response. I was at the grocery store and this lady was talking about, you know, her worldview on like tattoos and stuff. And if you guys know me, you guys know I have a bunch of tattoos. And so immediately I felt myself making a face like, okay, like, but then I was like, don't, because there's no need. But then I was like, dang, I wonder what makes her feel that way about people with tattoos. And I didn't end up talking to this woman or anything because I didn't feel like it. I was at the store and I was like, oh, this is my little quiet time. But I definitely took a moment, and instead of just instinctually making a face and like even making a sound, which I know I'm bad about sometimes, I kind of just like reevaluated. I was like, oh, like that's an interesting comment to make out in public, but I wonder what pushed her towards that. It's a really weird example. It has nothing to do with anything, but that's the example I wanted to give you guys because it can be applied to literally every situation in life. And like I said, you just need practice with this new habit you are incorporating. You just need practice. It's something new. It's not something you can learn in a day. And speaking of doing things in a day, Rome wasn't built in a day. However, it can be burned in one. What I mean by that is that typically when we do these little slip-ups or we fall into an old habit, we tend to take it out on ourselves, take it out on those around us, and it creates a very almost aggressive environment. You're working towards things and you're getting upset that, you know, you hit a bump in the road. Obstacles are going to happen. And the fastest way to take yourself from this path of, hey, I'm flying to my dream, I'm doing exactly what I want, the fastest way to go from there to my life sucks, I hate everything that's happening, why do all the bad things happen to me? The fastest way to jump back down to that level is letting one thing throw you off track. I had a teacher in high school tell me, Jhalisa, you have a lot of things going for you, but sometimes you just fall off the wagon. It's okay. Just get back on. And when she said that to me, honestly, it changed my life. I still think, like, mind you, I am 24 years old now, about to graduate grad school. This is something a teacher told me back when I was, I think, like a sophomore. And it stuck with me this whole time because that is something I constantly remind myself, like, hey, you fell off the wagon, you're off the track a little bit, but it either one gives you a chance to get back on the wagon, back on track, back on your path, or you can go make a new one. It's up to you, honestly. Like, there is no one way to do life, and I've mentioned that to you guys a lot of times. There's no one right way to live life. As long as you are living according to yourself and you're making yourself happy, then, you know, what's really to go wrong? So I want to bring this back to a personal example, is that one of the reasons I really get upset now, or I fall back into, you know, really bad episodes, which honestly I kind of just came out of one, and it's because I think I deserve a lot better in life, but I have allowed myself to accept the bare minimum. I have allowed small gestures that should be like everyday normal. I've allowed them to be these big things that if I don't get them, my energy crashes, my confidence is shot, all these like really like not great things, because I have allowed myself the bare minimum, to think that the bare minimum is like princess treatment. Shoddy, let's get real. So it makes me sad because I'm capable of so much, and I let these small things, and even with things like that are in my personal life, I let these small things really get me. Like, I'll drop something. I dropped something maybe an hour ago, and I was like, dang, Jhalisa, you don't even have the brain cell today. Like, immediately shot myself down because I was like, you dummy. And sometimes that's not like particularly an example, but sometimes small stuff like that can really ruin my day. Luckily, dropping that and making the mess that I made this morning didn't ruin my day. But if it's raining outside, if, you know, I trip, If I forget something at home and I'm like off to work already, like stuff like that, sometimes I let those small things invade my brain and blow up to an explosion. And that's why I get so sad, and that's why I think I get so upset and like fall into stuff, is because I let these small minuscule little, they're not even bombs, like I just let these small little things like pile up and like explode as they want to, but I don't have to let them. And that goes for other people affecting you as well. Like, don't give other people that power to affect you. Don't let little things in life affect you, because the more you do, the more you blow them up into these big things. And what good is that gonna do? So, as hard as it is, find out what in life makes you kinder. Like, what makes you nicer? What makes you more authentic, more gentle? And apply that to yourself. That's how you adjust to this new lifestyle, is that you give yourself grace. Because if you can't give yourself grace, how do you expect other people to do it? If you're having a hard time, take a couple steps back and be like, okay, like let's simmer down. Let's do something more enjoyable for myself. Let's find what makes me happier. What can I do to exude kindness to others, myself? There are times that I will help somebody out just because like they ask. They don't expect it of me, but they'll say something, or I'll be out and I'll be like, oh, this person would really love this. So I'll get it. I don't need it. I didn't need to buy it. The person I'm going to give it to is probably going to be like, oh my God, Jhalisa, why did you buy this? Like, you didn't need to do that. But in my head, I'm like, yeah, but you like it. Like, do you not like it? And they'll be like, no, I love it. Like, it was super sweet. I'll be like, okay. Because there's too many times all of us go without kindness in our life. So find ways to be kind, and it will come back to you in some way. I mean, it honestly is karma, but I just didn't want to use that word. The other thing that I want to mention is that you can't, I know I've kind of like said it, but just in case you guys forgot in 30 seconds, don't let the bad thoughts fill your brain. It's too easy to focus in on those. Remember what I said about that yellow car and those opportunities? Don't focus on the bad stuff, because that's just what's going to keep coming up. And you don't want that, because those aren't fun. It's not a good time when things aren't going good. And I want to say that from every square inch, I don't even think I can say that in regards to my heart, from every little nook and cranny in my heart, I am so proud of every single one of you. Because 1, you're still here. 2, you're still chasing that dream. 3, you are trying to become a person that you want to be. And that can be really hard. Like I said, I'm 24 now, and I didn't think I was going to be here, almost 4 years ago? Or 4 years ago, going on 5 years ago? I didn't think I was going to be in this spot. And I'm so thankful for life. Yeah, bad stuff happens. Yeah, storms will come, but you need a little bit of rain to get to that rainbow. You feel me? You need a little bit of rain to bloom those flowers, to make your plants grow. So storms, as dark and scary as they may be, they lead to some beautiful things. So find the beauty in the storm, and you'll be so much more appreciative of the outcome of it. So, with all that being said, wish on your stars, and make your wishes on your little dandelions, but also put the work in. Do what you got to do. Get serious. Figure out what you want to do in life, and get after it. There's nobody holding you back except for yourself. And trust me, I tell myself that every morning. The only person stopping me is me. So, just remember that you can do this. It might be hard, but nobody ever said life was going to be easy. So I'm proud of you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Most success for Chime with Jhalisa. Peace!